Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. It's been a few days since I've posted. I was back home for Thanksgiving and the holiday break, so excited to make a new video for you guys today. And so for today's episode, I want to talk about Jaime Jaquez Jr. and how he had a really good game against the Raptors on Friday night, and he was really aggressive and had a aggressive mindset from the beginning of the game. And I think that's going to be a key factor in helping him improve his play and elevate the Miami Heat's offense, because we know that the bench could be inconsistent. But with him on the bench, and it looks like Terry Rozier will still be coming off the bench for now. Those are two of the guys that the Miami Heat need to score. We got Pelle Larsson, who's a good rookie, but he's going to be inconsistent because, again, he's a rookie. And then we have other players like Kevin Love, who's going to only play, 10 minutes one game. He might play 20 minutes the next. You never know. He's capable of hitting threes and scoring, but we need to rely on Jaime and Terry Rozier now that he's on the bench. But after his impressive performance against the Raptors, like I mentioned, it's clear that he needs to be more assertive and aggressive, because I think that's going to be one of his biggest strengths moving forward this season. And so I want to break down how he performed. So we know right now, though, Jaime this season has got off to a slow start. So in the 13 games that he's played this season, he's only averaging 21 minutes per game off the bench, which is not bad. But he's only scoring 8.8 points, 5.5 rebounds, which is good. He was averaging close to 7 or 8 at the beginning of the season, 2.4 assists, zero point 0.8 steals, shooting 42% from the field. Not great for someone who's a wing player. He's shooting 36% from three, but only on 1.9 attempts. So last season, Jaime, who was a standout rookie last year, who finished, I think it was third in rookie of the year last year, was off to a better start, got a lot of opportunity because Jimmy was hurt and Haywood was hurt and Caleb Martin was hurt. So he was thrusted into a bigger role. Last season, he played 28 minutes per game. So yeah, that 21 minutes is a 7-minute drop, which is pretty significant so far. But he did average 11.9 points, 3.8 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 1 steal, was shooting 49% from the field and 32% on three, but on 2.7 attempts. So you could see that the efficiency is down for Jaime. But let's forget about that for now, and let's talk about his breakout game, if you will, and hopefully he can continue to stack up these types of games to help the Miami Heat stay above 500. So against the Raptors, he was coming off an ankle injury, and he played really well off the bench. He scored 15 points, which was a season high this year. He was 6 for 9 from the field, including 2 for 4 from three. If you could shoot 2 for 4 from three, or even 1 for 2 from three each game, that's going to be huge for Jaime and his confidence. What stood out most, again, as I mentioned earlier, was his aggressiveness. And even Jimmy Butler and Spo both praised Jaime after the victory, basically saying, Jimmy said first, I like it. I like it whenever he is aggressive. I like whenever he's playing with so much confidence. That's exactly what we saw against Toronto. Jaquez was driving to the basket with intent and knocking down shots. But here's the thing. While he showed his aggressiveness, there's still room for improvement in areas of his game to make him even more dangerous. And Spo also highlighted that too. We want him to be aggressive, and when he's playing with that mindset, he's nearly unstoppable. However, there's another element to his game that needs attention. That's off-ball movement, I think. Jaquez needs to continue working on cutting more and moving off ball this season. So last season, I think 50 or 60% of his baskets were from assists last year. And so last year, he didn't have the ball in his hands as much, obviously, because Jimmy, Bam, Tyler, Terry, whoever it was, Duncan had the ball more in their hands than him. And he was getting a lot of his baskets from cuts or through assists and in that mid post or low post range. And I think this season, I think it was 5 reasons who, provided the stat in one of the recent episodes, but I think he's assisted on 20% of his field goals made now. Like, so it's significantly down. And I've noticed that he's not cutting as more like he was. And so if he can start focusing more on that, and I know Pelle Larsson is kind of taking that role on the offensive end, where he is the one who's just really active always moving off ball, spotting up, and doing everything you need essentially of a role player. I think Jaime has had the ball more in his hands, which he struggled with because he typically focuses on that one spin move. And a lot of teams know that's his go-to and bread and butter move, so they're trying to take that away from him. So he's been struggling. But anyway, if he's cutting more and moving more off ball, when he does that, that's going to open up many more opportunities, not just for himself, but for his teammates as well, because players are going to have to rotate and collapse, and he can then get his teammates open. So again, this is where he can diversify his game, become even harder to defend like he was last season. And right now, when Jaquez is playing off ball and making sharp cuts, he creates mismatches that again the defenses have to account for. And the more he cuts to the basket and relocates to the corners for 3-point shots, the harder it is for defenders to lock him down and force him to shoot tough shots. So we've seen it in flashes last year, obviously. This season, we saw it in the third quarter against Toronto, where Hawk has scored 8 points. A lot of that success came from moving without the ball, making those quick cuts, and being in the right place at the right time. And that's the style of play that's perfect for him, for the Miami Heat offense, because they thrive on movement and spacing and a bunch of actions and flare screens. And so, with Terry out there as well, who's going to be more ball dominant now on the bench with him, then we definitely need him to move off ball. We also can't overlook how much he benefits playing off ball when Jimmy Butler and Bam have the ball in their hands. So we know those are two of our best playmakers. Bam has been killing it lately with his assists. Jimmy's still probably our best playmaker, even though he's not a guard. I guess he was at one point. But Hawkes doesn't always have to be the primary scorer. Like sometimes it's about finding the right spot, reading the defense, and attacking the opportunity when it's present. And by getting better at cutting and playing off ball, Hawkins can make the game easier for himself again, like last season, and for his teammates, and can become a more efficient scorer. He needs to become efficient. He shot 42% from the field this season. Last year was almost 49. That's huge. 7 percentage points is huge. He needs to get back up to that 46 to 48 range, and I think he'll be okay. So to sum up this episode, Jaime Jaquez just needs to be more aggressive while playing. He needs to be more active. He needs to move off ball, cut more, and once he gets the ball in his spots, he has that beautiful footwork and that basketball IQ where he can finish at the rim. He is super strong down low, has great footwork, like I mentioned, has that little turnaround game. Not bad in terms of mid range, even though the Miami Heat are not working on that shot profile anymore. They're focusing on shooting threes and layups. So let's get Jaquez to the rim. Let's get him open threes, or let's get him in the low post or off cuts, off weak side cuts like he did last season, where he could score and finish in the paint because he's a strong player for his size at 6'7". So I think adding this element back to his game, something he already had, it's nothing new. It's going to maximize his potential this season for his scoring ability off the bench. And if he can be a threat off the bench and make some sort of leap, because there's plenty of time. There's only 16 games, 17 games in the season so far. He's only played 13 or 14, whatever it is. Then he has a lot of time to turn this around and avoid a sophomore slump. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this episode. Do you think Jaime will be aggressive and will figure it out and get out of this slump and improve this season? Or do you think he's going to have that sophomore slump throughout the season? He's going to continue to be inconsistent. So let me know. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you guys like the content. Thank you so much.